Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Just checking a couple things. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Let me know where you guys are joining from. Come on in the room. Good morning. This is Dr. Shanae of SP Consulting Group. We are doing a morning moment of wellness. And I put some fresh curls in, and it's looking a bit much. I got to get my brush. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. How are you guys? What is going on? It is Monday, July 11th. Yep. It's morning. It's morning. We are going to be talking about faith over fear. Okay. So let me get everything that I needed, making sure I have the right little notepad. I have both of them. I had started in one and decided to go to another. Faith over fear. I am your organizational development psychologist as well as your licensed psychotherapist, where I serve as the founding senior executive wellness coach. And we talk about all things work-life balance, work-life integration, as well as helping organizations achieve a place of organizational health, have an organizational health culture. So we do a lot of things where we talk about people, we talk about the systems that support the people, and this is what we're doing. So we're here trying out a new time. Trying out a new time. Today we're doing 6 o'clock. I was a little bit off by a couple minutes, but we're doing 6 o'clock. Okay. Let me fix my other camera here on Instagram. Make sure I got it set up for you guys. Okay. What are y'all up to this morning? How are you feeling? How are y'all feeling over across the interwebs? Let me know. We're broadcasting to Instagram on this Monday morning. We do our Wednesdays and Thursdays in LinkedIn, where we do our HBR guide to mental health. Actually, here, HBR guides review of beating burnout. If you guys didn't know, I do this on Wednesdays and Thursdays. I try to switch it up, switch the platforms up a little bit. Because this is more pertaining to the workspace, if you guys have a LinkedIn account, then you guys go over there on LinkedIn on Wednesdays and Thursdays. Mondays and Tuesdays, we're on Instagram doing morning moments of wellness, where we look at the intersection of our faith and business, entrepreneurial faith, and what it is that we can do to optimize our wellness, optimize our effectiveness, our productivity. And it's all because a lot of times our stress gets in the way of that. So I hope you guys have your coffee or tea. Coffee or tea. But we're talking about faith over fear. And I had pulled up what are some of the definitions of fear. And I want to pull them up again here because I had decided just last minute to go on Instagram. I don't know, I'm not sure why, but I'm not on here that often except to do like reels and notifications and tips and tools. I don't come on here on Instagram all the time to do lives. But let's just look at some basic things when we go to like just the Oxford Basic Dictionary definition of what is fear. And it's an unpleasant feeling or unpleasant emotion that's caused by the belief that you or someone else is in danger, in pain, or there's a threat, so that danger is likely to cause pain or threat. And it's important that we know the definition of it as we move forward. Um, I even want to go to a place of giving a few other definitions just to drive the point as regards to how we're going to use faith to overcome fear in various areas of our lives, professionally and personally. I was trying to say personally and professionally at the same time. Good morning. It's Monday morning, and I definitely just had one sip of coffee. So come on in, come on in. As you guys may have known from me coming on here, I do talk slowly on purpose, and I talk slowly to not only be intentionally, but also to slow you down, to slow you down. And this morning moment of wellness is for those that are waking up stressed, that are going to bed stressed, that are finding themselves in the same stress cycle, the same things that are triggering them every single day. I want you to be able to start your morning off in a better place, giving you something to consider that's going to help you. So another definition of it's the Merriam-Webster dictionary. And fear is defined as an unpleasant and often strong emotion caused by anticipation or awareness of danger. I think it's important, again, to point out that both of them are talking about a perception, a perceived danger, a danger that can cause a threat or harm. Let me give another one. Let me see, even go to what's the cause of fear. Fear starts in the part of the brain called the amygdala. And a threat stimulus, such as the sight of a predator, triggering a fear response in the amygdala, activates the areas involved in preparation for a motor response, a motor function involved in that fight. I'm getting everything that says there has to be a threat of harm to you. And I want to stress that because a lot of times we are afraid of things that aren't a threat of harm to yourself. And for example, a fear of being let down. We have we have accidentally assigned this emotion of fear to things that are not a threat in the sense of how fear is defined, but that emotion has come up and it's sort of stuck around. And I wonder, and I truly wonder, if the fear that you have about different situations, the fear of letting go, the fear of really putting yourself in a place of vulnerability, I wonder if that is actually something that you can switch as far as how you define it, how it is that you view it, because ultimately, fear as it is defined is coming to a place of if there is a threat to you, like a primal threat, like a bear coming at you type threat. Is that what's happening? Or are we wrongly assigning this emotion and maybe doing so because of a different situation that seemed similar, right? Like it's not the same thing, but it feels the same. So again, as we talk about using faith to overcome our fears, I want you to be very clear on what is fear. So again, if you're joining, let me know where you're joining from. We are talking about faith over fear, and we just defined fear, and how it actually triggers our body. And this is why I say we wrongly assign it sometimes based on how it may feel similar to a different situation, because fear triggers our brain, the amygdala area of our brain, to then have a motor functioning response, like our body to actually do something to then escape it. You know what I mean? Like it's the wrong situation. And that's why sometimes if I'm working with someone in my practice one-on-one, I'm like, you sometimes need to just tell yourself and or trigger that part of your brain that thinks there is danger, some sort of pain or threat is coming from the thing in which you fear, and say, chill out. This isn't that. We have to reteach ourselves these things, because sometimes we can be so afraid of things that we don't respond. We don't respond to our stressors. We don't respond and get to the other side of what is procrastinating us in our business, for example, because of fear of the unknown. Okay, but is a bear heading your way? As an exaggerated, sort of reframe on that. Okay, so faith over fear. Well, we already heard that, you know, faith is the substance of things hoped for, but I want to just take it to another place. And let me get my notes out on this one. I want to take it to another place because we know that there's certain things that we are afraid of that we're trying to overcome, but it's hard to overcome it and get to that other side. And first, I want to share that one of the reasons why faith is so difficult, I'm not faith, why fear is so powerful and difficult to overcome. And it's because it is primitive to our nature. It is natural for us to be very sensitive to things that are possibly to be feared for the sake of evolutionary protection and survival. I mean, it involves this universal, like, biochemical response, as well as it's highly individual. Fear alerts us to the presence of danger or a threat to harm, whether that danger is physical or psychological. You may fear being let down, and depending on how powerful of a situation you've been in where you've been let down, it has the same sort of reaction in your body, right? So let's think about this. Why is it that it's important for us to pull in faith into the mix? Well, when we think about it, faith, especially for those of us that don't necessarily study faith, we're looking at how fear is presented in us based off of our perception. Okay. So how you perceive something. Think about that for a second. Fear is how you perceive something, and that can stop you from forward movement because of, being frozen, a fear response, fight, flight, or freeze. It can have you stuck in the cycle of hypervigilance and distract you from the end goal that you're trying to reach. Again, personally or professionally, we are in a situation where we have to realize what it is that's getting in our way. We have to realize what it is that's preventing us from going to the next level, preventing us from overcoming our stressors, preventing us from working smarter and not harder, preventing us from strategically doing things that purposely lead to a milestone that's free of the extra work, that's the extra strain, the extra stress, all of those things, right? So think about it. If all of these things, faith included, are things that aren't seen, they're not visible to the naked eye, they are based off of perception, faith being largely about perspective. How can I hope and trust in something that does not exist right now, that I do not see right now? How is it that everyone is getting hip to the space of manifestation, even though, as you guys have maybe heard before in previous recordings of what I view about manifestation and who the source is, not necessarily being the universe, but being God, the creator of the universe, Lord God, the one who created um, Jesus, the one who, um, you know, is all knowing, omnipotent, Alpha and Omega God. Okay. Um, a lot of these things come from a place of intangibles, like kinesthetically intangible. You can't feel it with your fingers. Okay. You can't manipulate it like, a mug or, whatever it is that you have in front of you. Kinesthetically, you can't. So I like to call it reconnecting the intangibles. So, how and why is it important to use faith to overcome fear? Because if you are in a cycle of believing that the things that you fear have the upper hand and they are to be revered, when you are afraid of something, you come to it correctly. You don't just um, dismiss it. But these fears are largely built on things that aren't necessarily going on in the moment, but yet are perceived to be similar because of the emotion. They are perceived to be similar and feel the same emotionally as a time in which you were psychologically or physically in danger. Okay? Both of which yields a stress response: fight, flight, or freeze. If it's psychological, your fighting is hypervigilance as a way that it can show up. The fighting may be doing all of these things self-care wise, but they don't necessarily match up to what you actually need. And so you're fighting against stress, when you really don't need to fight against stress. You need to just have a change of perspective in how you view the stressors. That it's either something that you have to do something about or something you need to let go. Okay? Flight. Flight is usually thinking of running away. Running away psychologically from these emotions of fear and stress can present as you being avoidant. It can present as you running away from, escaping, self medicating any emotions that you may feel. Some people drink at night in order to go to bed to relax consistently and don't even realize that they're now in a place of alcohol abuse, which is then the place leading to and the gateway to alcoholism. Even if it's, oh, this is just my one glass of wine every night. What are you using it for? You're using it to de stress, even though there are healthier ways to de stress, and your body is still picking up on the alcohol, the substances within the alcohol that are then changing the chemistry in your body to then associate relaxation with the drink, which is why you keep doing it. Okay. Um, but avoidance, psychological avoidance, not going into spaces on purpose that trigger that response, even though that location or that space, maybe even those people are no longer yielding a trigger for you. Okay, avoidance, flight. You're escaping. You're getting out of there. Freeze. Freeze is then in that space where you just sit and don't do much of anything. You allow different things to come into your life, and you just don't want to. You just don't want to deal. You just don't want to act. There is a little bit of avoidance in there. And again, psychologically, physically, if there was a bear coming at you, that would be the playing dead example of it. But all of these things lead us to having trouble to stick to our commitments wholeheartedly, meet our our guidelines, our deadlines, our targets, meeting our goals, our revenue goals, our lifestyle goals, because we are stuck in this cycle of allowing fear to get in our way. And this is why I am saying, if you get into this place of faith, again, faith, the substance of things hoped for, your perspective is necessary to lean on hope in order for you to have faith. Okay, you have to look at things different. You have to see that I may not see it now. Your view needs to be, I may not see it now, but that does not mean that it doesn't exist. Okay, it means that I have to work towards it, because now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of the things not seen. But it's a yet at the end of that, because we are saying we will get the evidence and be able to see it. Okay. And so I want to share another one. Um, Not another one. I want to share another piece in regards to faith. Let me get this notebook. The question that I put down here is, are you ready for what's next? Are you ready for what next? What is next? And a lot of times you get to this place of readiness by gearing yourself up for faith. We talked about entrepreneurial faith. We talked about that. We talked about how, as an entrepreneur, as an executive, you do have to lean on faith. You do have to have a vision. A vision is seeing things before you see it. It is required of you to have faith in order for that to happen and be the case. Yes. Okay. Faith. Webster says it's a strong belief or trust. In the Hebrew, it's a belief, it's a firm persuasion, it's an assurance, it's a firm conviction. And in Arabic, it means to affirm something and to comply with it. It's an affirmation, the action or process of affirming something or being affirmed. And faith even says it's an emotional support, according to it being an affirmation. Faith can be an emotional support or encouragement, a formal declaration by a person. How many of you have literally said, look, today I'm going to have a good day? My affirmation is, I will have peace and joy at all costs. I will protect my energy. That is a proclamation, an affirmation. I am affirming something that I have that hasn't come to life yet, and I'm wanting it to happen. And the reason why I'm breaking it down in this way is because people, when they hear faith, they think of all these other things except for what it actually is, and it's actually what you've already been doing in some form or fashion. But the thing is, the opposite of faith is a lack of trust. It is worry. It is fear. And what does worry and fear also do? Not just steal your joy, not just steal your peace and your happiness. It also keeps you from dreaming and having a vision for what it is that you're going to attain and have in your life, personally or professionally. So, if we're saying we are having fear, worry and fear can overshadow all the things that can bring you happiness and joy and peace. Having fear can keep you from being in the place of having faith and trust of what it is that you're trying to secure. Some of you are in business trying to secure a 5-figure month, for example. That's what a lot of people are preaching now. Money, money, money. Get this, how much, how much, how much is this? And yeah, we all need money. We all need money to make, moves. However, you're still stressed out. I mean, like, really, seriously, let me know in the comment section, you know, really, how many of you have reached a point. Maybe years ago, you used to say, hey, I want to reach 6 to 7 figures. And now that you've reached 6 to 7 figures, you're still dealing with stress. You're still dealing with fear. You're still dealing with doubt, especially self-doubt. We've been on this campaign talking about imposter syndrome for a minute now. But it's because there is this fear that you can't perform. There is this fear that if this happens, then that's going to happen. And I fear that if I try, it's going to fail. This is all these things, these fears, these thoughts, these responses that don't fit. They don't fit. And how can you make things make sense for what it is that you're planning to do? There is a lot that is strangled. Fear is one of the stranglers of what it is that you have envisioned, of all the things that you have been hoping for. Fear. So which one will you choose, faith or fear? Now that you know what fear is, now that you know what faith is, now that you know the role that faith plays in you executing, in you reaching that place of joy and that place of happiness and that place of peace, which one will you choose? Fear and doubt that can keep you in this place of the fight, flight, or freeze mode in your body, you stressed out, you having trouble getting restful sleep because your body is always on one, just won't shut down. Which one will you choose? Choose faith is what I'm recommending. Choose faith and not fear. Choose trust, trusting in the power of our Almighty God, the creator of the universe, to have you in a place of abundance, of peace, finances, joy, overwhelming love, overflow, instead of worry. Okay, so we will be back tomorrow, Tuesday, the 12th, to talk a little bit more about faith. And I'm going to refer you to the guide that we put out as far as the topic that will be explored. And so I want you to really look at it. We've been talking about entrepreneurial faith. We've been talking about, business. How is it that you can overcome a lot of the struggles that you're going through by simply stepping into this place of peace, which is why, we invite you to join us over in the Pursuit of Peace. If you're watching by Instagram, if you are one of our subscribers on YouTube, and really come to this place where you find us. It's the Pursuit of Peace. You can also look at it by putting at Pursuit of Peace Movement, because we're getting ready to do some things for those that have reached a certain milestone in their life that they didn't think that they could reach financially, professionally, in your position or whatnot. And you're still stressed out. So tomorrow, faith and stress relief. That's what we're going to be talking about. We'll be coming again on Instagram into our private group. Our private group gets everything. You get the things that we broadcast on Instagram, and you get the lives that we broadcast on LinkedIn when we're reviewing our guide to beating burnout. So tomorrow we will be back, Morning Moment of Wellness, where we speak on faith and stress relief. I wish you guys an amazing Monday. And I hope, again, that when fear rises up in you, maybe you have a presentation. Maybe you have a presentation going on, and it may be rising up in you. You have a busy day. You have an important meeting. You're applying for a certain new role. You are deciding to jump out of your 9 to 5 and into your own business, or maybe even you're getting ready to scale your existing business, whatever it is. Choose faith. Don't let fear rob you of what it is that is destined for you to have. Don't minimize, or I should say, don't maximize the time in which you're going to achieve your goal by allowing fear, I should say, to still it, to strangle it. because that all leads to worry, stress, confusion, and all the things that aren't represented by your creator. Okay? All right. You guys have an amazing day. I love you guys, and I'll see you tomorrow, where we're going to be talking about faith and stress relief. All right? You guys take care. Bye bye.